Are you struggling this holiday season? I want you to know you're not alone. This year has been so incredibly hard for me. I've been dealing with a massive amount of grief, and I'm going to show you the process I use to process it as quickly as possible instead of like just pushing it down and then having it be completely overwhelming or just numbing out totally and then not dealing with the grief. Hey there, I'm Wanda Belisle. I'm a registered health coach and autoimmune paleo coach, and more importantly, I'm a person who's had to deal with ME/CFS for the last 6 years. I've gone from being completely stuck on the couch to being able to get about 95% of my life back. So here is how I deal with the holiday season. It started, I was going through my closet with my daughter and she came across my old Coach bag. This was my purse that I loved before I got sick, but it was just like so big and heavy. I didn't have the energy to walk, so I didn't have the energy to pack it. I put it away as soon as I couldn't use it anymore, and it happened to be right after a trip. And in it was like all the pens, there was a spoon, all the things that I used except for my wallet was still in there. But also in there was a receipt for the Fairmont Hotel just before I had a big crash. Me and my girls were on a trip and we were coming home. The plane couldn't land, so we had to go back to the airport. And so to make the most of it, the only rooms available at the airport was at the Fairmont on the top floor. If you've ever been there, it's amazing. They have a concierge and they have this private lounge with cookies and coffee and tea and alcohol, anything you could possibly want. And so it was like a great treat for my kids. They had so much fun. And then we spent the next day at the spa while we waited for our flight to come. And in it was the bill, which was almost $1,000 for this one day. And it was no big deal. It was something we turned into a fun adventure, and that's where the grief hit, because that is no longer the life I live. There's no like jet setting and staying at the top of the Fairmont. And that grief came because this year is so different. This year I'm not even able to get presents for my nieces and nephews, and that like killed me. So as you can see, this is still something I'm dealing with today. That grief, that sense of loss of my life before is still so present, but this is how I manage it. This is a technique that I show my clients. This is something I use personally, and it really helped with my mindset when dealing with ME/CFS. I should name the process. It's just a mismatch of a bunch of different techniques. You use this process when you start reaching for coping mechanisms, checking out, or getting that feeling like you need to escape, or when you notice those first signs of flight freeze, or that you're going into a crash from emotions. First step is to observe the emotion and the sensations in your body you're feeling, and then allow that feeling to be and let it breathe it in and out and view it like waves coming in the ocean. So I just usually put my hand on my chest and on my abdomen. I'm not changing my pattern of breathing, I'm just deeply breathing with this emotion. Now after you let this sit for a minute, having it come and go, then I want you to name the emotion. And the name is always one word. An emotion is one word. Fear, anxiety, bored, like these are all emotions. And you can look at an emotion wheel. I find it really helpful to name what you're actually feeling. Next, you want to describe the sensations of this emotion. Here are some of the questions I ask myself. Where do I feel it in my body? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it fast? Is it slow? If it had a color, what would it be? What shape or object is it? Be specific. Is it like a twisty red knot in the pit of your stomach? And then finally, what is this about? What can this emotion tell me? And what is it wanting? For me, it's like feeling this like red ball of anxiety in my chest that is expanding like dough. And I sit in there and breathe with it and just ask it, what is it telling me? What is it from? It is very fear-based. When you witness yourself experiencing these emotions, you create space between yourself and what you're feeling. With a compassionate and curious eye, you observe yourself as a human being. This is space where awareness occurs, and with attention, change can happen. Next is identifying the cause. All emotions are created from thoughts. Once you've allowed the feeling, described it, and breathed it in and out, you're ready to understand what is the cause of it. If you're in a hurry to get to this point, stop and go back to that step where you're just breathing it in and out. When you've relaxed into your worries and fears, anxiety, or whatever emotion is coming up, you'll notice that it starts to have less of a grip on you. Once you've identified the thought behind this emotion, you ask yourself, is this true? This thought that you're having about this emotion. So once you've done all the work and you've identified the thought that's causing this, you ask yourself, is this really true? If it's yes, you absolutely know this thought is true. Don't resist it or defend this thought, just simply accept it. If no, it's a story you're telling yourself. Don't judge yourself or beat yourself up, just simply acknowledge it as well. For me, so this is my thought, like not being able to give my nieces and nephews the presents I wanted, this thought is based in fear and lack, and that's where it's coming from. Now, is it true that I can't give them anything? No, there are lots of things I could do. I just needed to get creative. Next is the turnaround. Ask yourself, who would I be and what would I be free to do without this thought? Again, so this would be like feeling that lack and sense of loss. Without that thought that I have all this worry, then I'm able to think creatively and come up with a solution. Then ask yourself, would the opposite of this thought be even more true? So I give you my example, or another example would be, I hate my body, it has always let me down. Now the opposite of that thought is, I love my body, it's doing everything it can to survive and beat this illness. Which is more true? It's really hard for you to get to that opposite thought. I like to use creating a thought ladder. So you're up here from like, I hate my body is the example, to I love my body. And then you just move like one rung up that ladder to appreciate my body, or I accept my body. And you just try to get to that point. I like my body, and then I love my body. A thought ladder is how we go from thinking that one thought into thinking something new. It creates a pathway to turn around your thought and helps us sidestep that toxic positivity that you're really reluctant to believe. Now, once you've found a thought, a more positive thought that you can believe in, I take a little time to either think or write a quick apology to myself. Oh, there's a fox. So I take a little minute and either think or write an apology for believing that thought that was really bringing me down. So these are 2 prompts that you can use. I forgive myself for buying into this misunderstanding, and then fill in the blank. The truth is, ... myself for judging the truth is. So I forgive myself for being overwhelmed with a lack of fear and not enough. Truth is, I have everything I need right now, and I trust things will get better. Once you've gone through this series, felt your emotions, sat with them, and found out what you're going to learn from them, thank yourself. Thank you for letting me feel this, and what can I learn from this emotion? I learned that I was gripping on to like this lack of fear and not enoughness, and it wasn't letting me see what is possible. And then the final step, clap your hands and say you're back. I know this seems like a great big process, but it can flip the switch on your mindset and help you see things a different way. And for myself personally, that meant getting creative. I made a bunch of toques for my nieces and nephews. I hope they enjoy them for the Christmas holidays and keep them warm this winter. I hope you're able to find a way to put this into practice and help you relieve some of that stress and anxiety the holiday causes. And I've used it all through my illness. Anytime any of those emotions come up, if it feels too much to do the whole process, just sit and feel those emotions, let come in and out, and that will just give you a little bit of space so you can process them. I do like the turnaround, asking what is more true and seeing if the opposite feels better. And just to reiterate, I'm not a counselor or a psychologist, nothing like that. This has worked for me, that I've learned and picked up different steps throughout the years. Another thing that has helped me through the holidays is really designing out how I want to feel this holidays. So I created a guidebook. It's Thriving This Season, Your Essential ME, CFS and Long COVID Guide. It's how to navigate the season crash-free. We have how to embrace the season with ME, CFS. It has on pacing. It has crafting your holiday vision, a bah humbug list, things that light you up list, being naughty and saying ho ho no. So what things do you really need to say no to so you can feel better this holidays? Scheduling magic and being your own Santa. Plus, again, a whole bunch of practical tips and tricks on how to manage the holiday craft free. So if you're interested in this, there'll be on my website, wandabelisle.com. Just go to my shop and I'm selling it for $7. I truly hope this helps you deal with the stress of the holidays and feel and process these emotions a little bit easier. If anything's resonated with this video and helps you out, please hit the like button and subscribe, or give me a follow on Instagram for more tips and tricks on how to deal with ME, CFS, and Long COVID. Hope to see you soon.